Rami Chahine, notre Chief Product Officer, qui va vous présenter la roadmap de Jahia sur l'année prochaine et les années à venir. Welcome.
Merci. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm going to be the only English speaker, and there's been a lot of jokes all day about how bad I am because I'm not a French speaker, not including me on the social media stuff because I'm also not a French speaker. So we're going to do something before we start here because I think a picture is worth more than 1,000 words. We're going to take a selfie so I can have some social media about this event. Are you guys ready? We're all going to scream Jahia when I count to 3. All right, let's go. 1, 2, 3, Jahia! Perfect. All right, let's start. Before we start, I think I want to set up the positioning of the company. I think it's important to understand the mission of the company before you say why the roadmap looks like this. And since the audience is more customers and prospects and partners, I think it's good to just engage in terms of like how are we thinking, and I would appreciate all the feedback afterwards in terms of does it make sense. So if you look at the market, like the omni-channel stack, we believe at Jahia that we are a foundational plumbing for that stack, beginning with a content platform, with the addition of our customer data platform and all the feature functions we provide. We can act as a central hub for all the options that you can have inside of the stack. And we'll talk a little bit more about what we have today, what we're going to have tomorrow in terms of playing more nicely in this sandbox with everybody else. So, and also it's important to know when you build software, who are you building it for? It's a crucial point to make decisions on the roadmap to know who you're building it for. And to us, selling for the omnichannel, we really serve 2 masters. We have IT, we have DevOps, we have developers, and we have business users. So for that, when you talk about business, you talk about business users and authors that write the content, digital marketers that want to take that content and create personalization, create websites, create engagement channels. And on the tech front, we go after front-end developers, full-stack developers that want to add functionality to our platform, as well as DevOps that wants to control the environment, performance, security, all that stuff. So for us, every time we evaluate the roadmap, we look at how much are we serving each of this persona. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. So you heard this morning, that we are rebranding the products. The big question is why. We felt that it was a little bit too confusing to keep referring to our own software with a different name. The company has a unique name, Jahia. We're going to brand the main platform as Jahia, especially with our mission to go to the cloud. And we are there now. It's a common thing that you refer to the company with the name of the product or vice versa. So going forward, you're going to see that all of our products have been rebranded, starting with 732. It's going to be called Jahia, the platform. So what you've known before as the Digital Experience Manager is going to be called Jahia. And then within that platform, we have connected applications, independent applications, add-ons, and new features coming. So definitely we're going to see more and more of the application store coming to the front with Jahia. These applications could be paid for, could be free, could be community, and could be also developed by you. Developed by partners for customers or by customers themselves, going back to the persona of full-stack developers. We're going to start also offering the 3 main features as either something you start with or you upgrade to, or you just go in with the whole package. So today, most of you are using Jahia with the J-Content experience. So creating content, managing content, website, and WCM. But what we are also focusing on going forward is the experience part, the digital experience platform. And that means take all that content, combine it with data, and create a digital experience with that content. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. But we feel with this new branding, it's a little bit more clear. It's a little bit more highlighting of the the architecture of our product. So we will start talking about platforms and applications, and that is a differentiator for us in the market. It will help us be cloud more, although we are, when it comes to the journey of the cloud, very advanced, and you're going to hear today more about that. And it's going to give our customers flexibility. Add as you wish, remove if you need to, or build your own on top of it. So hopefully that will solve a little bit of the feedback from last year in terms of it's too complex. And I would appreciate the feedback on it later on. So if you find me, grab anyone with a J t-shirt and tell them this is good or bad. So with that, this is what we call in architecture. It's not an architecture per se. It's more about how to use all the software stack of Jahia. And today, out of the box, you can use Jahia with a content repository, as a content repository in headless mode, so you talk to it in GraphQL. You can use it as a customer data platform, also as infrastructure, and you talk to it as API. So we provide all of features in terms of two main engines that could be completely served out as infrastructure. Then we have all the main applications. One of them being the J-Content, which is our content management system, and the J-Experience. I'm not going to get into all the details here. I have slides on them later. But they also allow you to connect to the rest of the world in terms of getting more content or adding more search capabilities, e-commerce on the content side, and on the J-Experience side, help you connect to analytics, get all the data for your customers, and connect them to your CRMs, your DAM, anything you wish for. So if you're a business, you're more focused on the upper side. If you're IT, you're focused on the lower part. So that's how we serve both. So then let me build this one up. One big shout out to our cloud team and the company in general is we finally got the ISO certification for our cloud. And we've done really good stuff for our cloud. So we got it really in a fast time period, but that's also a testament to the fact that we've done everything right. And we're not cutting corners. We're doing everything we can to ensure security, to ensure privacy, to ensure the fact that in our cloud you can scale up and down automatically, to ensure the SLA that we are guaranteeing 99.9 up and running time. And we're seeing, like Michael was saying, we're seeing a lot of our customers, the new ones, coming to the cloud. And when we compare the return on investment, ROI, or the total cost of ownership, we're seeing huge savings on the cloud side. And with huge savings, also it's paired with the fact that you don't have to maintain anything. We maintain the software, we upgrade the software, we give you full access, full control of that. So when it comes to moving to the cloud, I think you owe yourself to think about it in terms of like, let's just do this calculation, let's just do the ROI and see if it makes sense. Plus, we do have a little bit more competitive pricing when it comes to the cloud because we can have different type of pricing. So I'll let the sales guys talk about that. So let's go a little bit over J-Content. I started using the term traditional and headless, but the market also is super confused about the two, right? Traditional, I think we all know what it is. When it comes to Jahia, we have all the enterprise features. We can provide multi-sites, multi-language, full capability in terms of permissions and roles. And we also provide easy WYSIWYX way to edit the content or create forms. And we give you now, with the recent addition of Elasticsearch, we give you really an advanced way of searching that content and providing it. So now this is how we all know it. We know how it works. And you log into Jahia to do everything. But when you start thinking about it in a headless mode, it's a fancy term to the fact that you just don't need to use our UI. You can build content in Jahia. You can maintain that content and be able to allow your business users to continue editing it and to continue to contribute to it. But the consumption piece could happen anywhere else. Think about it this way. You're building apps, you're building progressive websites, you're linking multiple sites together, you're sending newsletters that have particular pieces of content. All that doesn't have to be recreated every time for every channel. You can create it once, use it many. And that is the power of this head optional or headless. If you go out and read analysts, everyone has a different opinion to it. We're trying to keep it the theme of simple. This is how we explain it. We explain it in terms of we allow you to consume that content through API anywhere you want, and you still create and maintain stuff inside of Jahia. With that, I think the biggest differentiator with Jahia is we do tag those contents. We do allow you to personalize, which also allows you then to personalize in headless mode. So think about it this way. You create a newsletter, and you want to send out the news, or you create an app. And instead of really putting static content in that app, you just say box 1, box 2, box 3. And if you are someone from France versus US, you get the language automatically switched for you. If you're someone in business versus IT, you get the content switched for you. So even when you are going inside of apps and progressive websites, the content will be personalized. And that's something that we at Jahia are a little bit unique and different from the rest of the market. So why is it unique? We kind of like eat our own dog food. So all of our applications are using our own API. So anything that you see in our UI has a corresponding API for it. And anything that you can do inside of Jahia from an application perspective, you can do it as a standalone API. So we call it an API-first strategy. You're going to hear us talk more about it, that anything we add, we have to have a technical term for it. So we are advanced in terms of our use of GraphQL. For anyone that is not familiar with it, GraphQL is a new way of combining multiple API calls into one. So it reduces the amount of code, it reduces the amount of complexity, and makes it very comfortable to write code faster, and it's more modern. So we have a lot of expertise in-house for GraphQL. So if you want to get to know it a little bit more, definitely, we can talk to Serge, talk to anyone in the product team, give you a little bit more of a deep dive on it. We're also very modular. So going back, why are we so unique? You can deploy modules, remove modules, and you can really be modular. We're very open, and thanks to this architecture, we can really fit a lot of use cases. We are always asked about, tell us all the use cases you could do. And it's literally, the platform itself is so extendable that you pretty much could do anything with it. But we will get better, since I do own marketing and product marketing a little bit. So we will get better in terms of explaining to you, inspiring you, in terms of here's new features that you can use for this kind of use case and that kind of use case. So now to talk about the J experience world. I think experience alone doesn't mean much. It has to be an experience and data combined together. So to get that data in, we recently added over 250 connectors to our platform. So you can connect to your CRM, you can connect to your NetSuite, you can connect to your other applications and bring the data in. The idea is, yes, you can collect information from your website. Who visited, how long did they stay on a page, which forms they filled in, or what page referred them to your site, and you can personalize based on that. But you can also bring data from your Salesforce or your other CRMs. Is that a lead? Is that a paying customer? Is that a happy customer, a not so happy customer? You can augment that data together, and you can build what the industry is calling a customer 360. And then based on that customer 360, you have a way better personalization experience for anyone hitting your site. So with that, we also have complete automated workflows. So you don't have to be a technical genius to create those connectors. It's pretty much username, password, and you can build a graphical workflow of what will happen when something is integrated. As an example to that, a new lead comes through the site, goes to Salesforce, the sales team, calls it a hot lead or a very interested lead. That information comes back to our Jahia database, and then we treat it as such. So those kind of automated flows are very easy to do, and we would love to show you demos of them. Then I have another architecture of everything that you could do now inside of this platform based on these applications that we talked about. Keep in mind, we will have more applications in the future, but this is now what is out there. This is now what we have in the market. And it all starts with what you have also used Jahia for, create content, design the content, test it, validate it, publish it. But then from there on, now you have websites, now you have applications, you start collecting data, you start collecting behavioral data, and then you take it into our CDP or our JCustomer, and you analyze it and we bring data in. So let's go a little bit more in details on that. It all starts with data collection. So behavioral stuff, page views, document downloaded, videos viewed. So you can track every content that you have on the site, who's using it, how many times it's being used. It will help us later on bring more recommendations. So we'll talk about recommendations in a second. Explicit information like them filling out a form or agreeing to your cookies or consent to use their information. All that data could be collected. It could be people that have filled the form and you know who they are, or just people you're tracking through cookies. You can combine all that and use that inside of JCustomer. Then you start with profiling. So now that you have collected that information, you can create interests, you can create lists, you can create dynamic lists. An example of a dynamic list would be if somebody comes to my site and visits this page, that page, and this page, and didn't fill a form, I want to put them in the category of interested but not ready. And that is a dynamic list. And then you can start marketing to those people. You can start changing the content that they view based on their profile. Or you can then have them move out of that dynamic list the minute they fill a form. So for you as a marketer, author, it's now easier to target the right people with the right content because there's a lot of intelligence happening in the back powered by Jahia. Then I talked about the integration. So we can do real-time integration. We can be like integrating with your e-commerce stuff in the back end. If somebody shows up to the site to check, have they paid their bill? Are they current, with their bill? And then in real time publish and update a site. But I think the biggest goal here is to have a database, to have a centralized place where you can read all this information about a customer and really be granular about personalization. I think, like Michael was saying, as much as I could understand in French, it's all about the experience, it's all about the disruption. And people that will really adapt and adopt that technology are people that are going to set themselves apart and become, you can't have personalization in a very vague anymore. You have to go really deep on personalizing the experience. And then the decision making is you go now and you can do A/B testing, you can do personalization based on all that. These kind of features are so easy to use in the product. So if you haven't seen them, if you haven't tested them, I would highly recommend that you do. Now, this is an area where you will see a lot of it in the roadmap. We don't do well yet with analysis, but we will very soon. We want you to have a full dashboard of how many visitors do I have, how many people filled this form, how many people have consumed this content. So we are definitely working down on giving you more granular, more drilled down features in terms of analyzing that data. Because, on one hand, personalization is important, but on the other hand, you have to be smart about it and analyze everything that happens to be better making decisions. And then the last part is, which freaks everyone out. Okay, now you're doing everything. You're collecting data. You're storing my data. I don't like it. So we do really well with GDPR. We will allow you to give your customer the idea of take the consent or not, or even the function of I want you to forget about me. So all that features are native to the platform, and we will allow you to do so. So you can advertise on your sites that if you are not happy, or if I don't have your consent of tracking you, we will not do it. And that is a little bit different from the rest of the industry that are just asking you to just be okay with the cookies, but they don't really explain to you what that means. Okay, so I think I've extended it to one here. So let's get a little bit, now that I've showed you, what we can do, the vision and the positioning of the company, let's talk about, okay, what's going to come in the future. One of the main things that I've been here now for 5 months almost, and even for me, when I started looking at the product, I saw the product is very strong in terms of feature functions, but also have grown in the years of the years that it's been out in the market, and it needs kind of a facelift and overhaul in terms of UX UI. So that's why you're seeing a lot of UX UI people here in the room, because it's going to be a big focus for us going forward. We really want to improve the first impression. When you look at the product, how does it behave? Do I need to be trained? The ultimate goal for us, nobody needs to be trained. Everyone, so which will help you stay up to date with the software. I heard a lot of feedback. We can't really update people because then we have to train on the new UI, UX. Hopefully in the future, you won't have to do any of that, because we are going to be working more on intuitive software that doesn't really require training. Or if it requires training, it's probably going to be built into the software to do so. So you're going to hear me talking a lot about UX, UI, user experience, and user interface. We're definitely focusing on that. In terms of cloud, like I said, we are ISO certified. We are going now for another certification for SOC 2. And that's just our commitment to be more secure and give you the peace of mind that you are in good hands. We're also working on giving you the flexibility to deploy anywhere you want. So today we use Amazon, but we're not married to Amazon. We can deploy anywhere. So if you would rather be in a different area with a different vendor, we can support that. So there's some work to be done there, but we're also in pretty good shape there. Then on the headless side, like I said, we believe that GraphQL is the way to go. And today we want to combine the power of our content engine and CDP engine in one, so you can talk to both of them at the same time, talking GraphQL. So that's one of the focuses for us. Image management, it's something we need to improve as well in terms of reducing the amount of storage and allowing you more flexibility for requesting an image in different formats. In terms of connectivity, it is in the platform soon, but we also want to work as your experts. So we want to build drafts. We want to build community workflows where we tell you, if you want to connect these two systems, here's a built recipe. It gets you 80% there. So we're going to work on a lot of these out-of-the-box connectors that you can just take and use right away. And this is where the future of the strategic stuff for us is we're going to work on the J experience and make it more smart. We have big ideas on integrating machine learning, AI, something that it could be as simple as asking your data, what are the best segmentation for it? So looking at the traffic of a site and say, you know what, make a decision that I want to use this content for this time of demographics, tell me which one it is. We can also allow you to integrate with the best of breed of machine learning and AI vendors. You can take the data out, build your own complex models, and then bring them back to us. We will execute them. We're also working on the idea of auto-tagging. So when you upload a picture, a lot of people are lazy and they don't want to sit there and tag it, so we can auto-tag it. Or if you upload a text, we can auto-tag it. We can do recommendations in terms of if you want to place a content on a site, is it the right place to place it, or is it the right piece of content for this site? So you will see a lot of intelligence coming from the idea of analyzing. So now that we are not just content, we're content and data, now we can make more decisions. We're also talking about the idea of standalone J experience. It doesn't always have to be paired with our own CMS. It could be paired with others. It could be getting data from other CMSs. So it's not always a rip and replace. It could be an add-on to what you already have. And obviously, an always focus for us is partners. So how do we add more integrations? How do we add more ease of use with partners? And how do we work on more applications that partners could provide and support going forward? Then there's the big thing that we are working on right now, which, how do I go back? There we go. We're calling it V8. I made the joke, it's not the juice that is V8 like in the US. But our V8 is going to be a big transformational thing. I'll take you through a couple of examples of what we're improving in it. But it's mainly going to have the connectors that I just spoke about. It's going to have a single installer, so you don't have to migrate from one to the other. It's going to have different types of licensing. And particularly, these licensing are very attractive for the cloud, where you're not paying for GVMs anymore. You can just pay per page view or for API calls. It has advanced search based on Elasticsearch. So if you liked our experience before, you're going to love this one. It's definitely more advanced. It can allow you to search while you type. It can allow you to make some mistakes while typing. And even the performance of it is way, way better from what we had. Then we are going to allow you to have light modules, so you can deploy other scripts than just Java, allow you to define new content types and everything. And a big one is our content editor. So what I want to show you now in 2 more slides is the UI UX update and the content editor. So let's talk about that. Like I said, it's a very well-formed software, and it has a lot of features. But today, when you go through it, you have to really be trained on it. So the idea here, once we added the excellent UX team that we have now and the product managers, is, okay, how do we create a new way of navigating all that? And we thought, okay, we're going to start switching over placing of stuff. We're going to have, first we're going to a simple theme, black and white and grays. So we're not going to be too colorful. But you know, the colorful stuff you have to create with us. We're not the one that's going to have to be colorful. And then we're going to move into the area where everything to the far right, the far left is everything related to the platform. Then you pick the application you're working in. You have more features. You have searches. You have the ability to switch sites, switch languages, and the ability to pick the content you're working with out of a navigation. But then the call to actions will move all the way to the top. The search will move all the way to the top. And then the main part of the white space is going to be the application itself. We've tested it on some of customers. We've tested it on some of our own users. We hope that it's going to have a nice impact, not in terms of introducing new stuff, but just in terms of making the software easier to use for new users. And then hope that we can scale a little bit more with that. So it's definitely clear defined areas on the page, and every one of those is developed in a new technology called React, and every one of those features is also developed with the API in the back. So anything you see here, anything that you can click on has a corresponding API. This also will help us to start adding more features. So the more applications we add to the platform, they will start showing up on these stuff. Then there's the content editor. So the whole objective of content editing was we need to remove a lot of these clicks. The content editing we have today does have a lot of features, but also at the same time, it allows you to edit the content, then go click somewhere else to preview it, then come back to save it. So the idea, and we worked hard on this, is to bring it all then together. So to have side-by-side way of editing multiple contents and viewing them exactly how they would look in a particular browser or in a particular iPhone or any other devices, iPads and stuff. So we show you that preview, and we allow you as an editor to make a quick decision, scroll together, and be able to do it. We believe in some cases we're removing more than 10 clicks that are unnecessary just by providing this side-by-side view, client-side, and an easier way of publishing. Plus, another couple of news is down the road, we're working on more publishing features where we allow you to schedule publishing, we allow you to have drafts and versioning of everything you're working on. So we're definitely focusing also on improving the content editing of our CMS, and not just going forward the data stuff. And I think that is it. I'm spot on. You didn't even have to tell me anything.
So don't go anywhere.
Perfect.
Couple of questions, as you know, I don't let anyone get off the stage without asking a few questions from me.
I thought 45 minutes of English is enough for everybody.
Yeah, let's do a little more. You know, this is what you think about the French.
No, I'm trying. My God, you flipped it back on me. Not bad.
So there's a few things in here that
Yeah.
are really striking to me, and when, you know, obviously we talked about and that research. So to be clear, we're talking about Jahia on the cloud, we're talking about Jahia on premise. Is there any difference between the two? Is it the same code? Is it the same version? Or are we talking about having a specific version for the cloud and a specific version for the, for the on-premise, and you have to track?
That's a great question. So
thank you. And we didn't even rehearse that one.
So up till now, they're the same piece of software. So it's the same code, because for now, we're offering you PaaS. So what we're offering you is managed by Jahia systems that are privately to you. There's no commingling of data. There's no multi-tenancy. pretty much what you're having is your own Jahia instance running in the Jahia cloud with your full control. So for today, yes, it's the same code base. It's definitely easier to upgrade and stuff. In the future, we're thinking about going also with another offering of SaaS, kind of like a lower entry level for everyone else.
Okay.
And at that point, we might change the code, not to be too different, but just to have a split in terms of like giving you more control over your application by site, not by project.
Okay.
Or not by deployment. So when we go SaaS, we might have a different, but we're still going to worry, like we will make sure that the migration from one product to the other is seamless. But for now, going back to the question, they're exactly the same, with the best feature being that it's managed by us, not by you.
Okay. So about that migration, so at this point, some of our customers are using us on premise. They're thinking about going to the cloud. At this point, what kind of effort are we talking about in terms of taking their on-premise installation and going to the cloud?
Well, I'm not going to steal Julian's. I know. I'm not going to steal his thunder, but we do have easy ways to do it. When it's highly customized, there's a couple tricks and ways of showing you how to do it. I would always recommend, once anytime you're migrating, anytime you're updating your software, give us a call. We're more than happy to help. But from the idea of moving from on-prem to the cloud, we've done it with a bunch of customers already. So we've trained, we're experienced. You're not going to be the first one, and we have tricks and ways to do it easily.
Okay, one more question. You kind of went through it kind of quickly, but I think it's really something. It's so obvious to you, but
yes.
So you mentioned at some point in time, you talked about 250 connectors for the CDP, for J Customer, for J Experience. So does that mean that as of now, if I want to, as an organization, I want to pretty much have a reference, let's say database, data container about everything that I know about my customer, and use that to decide how do I personalize the experience, I can just implement J Experience, J Content, J Experience, connect to whatever sources I have. So I can have, for instance, Salesforce, NetSuite, MailChimp, Nuxeo, Alfresco, all those things. And at once, I'm going to be able to know everything I know about whatever my customers do, whether it's the intranet or the internet, and let it go with the personalization.
Exactly. Okay. And the idea is you're not trying to replicate all your data in Jahia. That's something that is a misconception. What you're trying to do is bring the data in that you really care about. So when you connect to Salesforce, you're not trying to bring all the leads and all the contacts and all the opportunities. You really are trying to bring in the data that you really want. Lead sources or lead tags or statuses. You're just going to bring in data to combine so you can personalize. So when you get pushbacks or when you get asked, like, why would you ever do that? You're replicating data. No, you're really not. You're creating a particular set of data for the purpose of personalization.
Perfect. Des questions? Pas de questions pour Rami? Rami, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Much appreciated.
Thanks.